Hello, it's Eric here, and so we are on to another dirty trick by the financiers to lure the unsuspecting investors. Yeah, and okay, so in this case, the type of investors that are not very sophisticated, they will not suspect anything fishy. I'm talking about the type of investors called the stablecoin investors, or in general, crypto investors. And so they have two characteristics that make them very usual targets, very easy targets for people who want to sell really high risk financial products. Yeah, and these two characteristics are their yield appetite and their unsophisticated risk management. Yeah, and so let me move them to the stablecoin investors here, and then let me explain to you why they are so easy targets. Yeah. Okay, so stablecoin investors these are people, they use their hard-earned money, hard-earned cash, to buy stable coins, and then they lend out these stable coins to a DeFi platform. Yeah. And typically you get a very high APY, like anywhere between 15 to 20% return, yeah, annually, yeah. But of course, this kind of high return is disappearing very, very fast because of high-profile collapses like Terra Luna and things like that, yeah. And so therefore, there are not that many opportunities to earn very high APY for stablecoin investors, yeah. And so therefore, if you offer the stablecoin investors high yield, like anything between 10 and 15%, they will basically jump at the opportunity. They will just swallow it, hook, line, and sinker. And so therefore, the first characteristic for them to be easy targets is their appetite for high yield. Yeah. And the second characteristic that makes them very easy target for really high risk financial products is their lack of appreciation for risk management. They are not very good at doing risk management, not like the investment bankers. And so therefore these two characteristics, the appetite for high yield and their lack of sophisticated risk management techniques, make them really, really easy targets for those scams. I wouldn't call them scams, but they're just high risk financial products that you really have to have a good understanding before you buy them. Yeah. Okay, so what type of high risk financial product are we talking about here? Well, this is basically private debt. So private debt is kind of loans that are very, very easy to default. Yeah. But they they compensate for the easiness to default by giving you a very high return, very high yield. Yeah. And then, so therefore, if you buy private debt, you get a very high yield, but you have to tolerate the risk of very high chance of default. Yeah. And so therefore, if you invest in these private debt, if you want to protect yourself, you buy a CDS, credit default swap. Credit default swap basically is a kind of insurance policy. Yeah. It's a kind of insurance policy to protect you from the private debt going default. That means if the private debt goes default, you get a big payout from the CDS that you bought. Yeah. And then so therefore, if you buy CDS, then you get an extra protection to protect you from the bond, from the private debt that's going default. Yeah. So if you buy CDS, if you hold the CDS, then you're happy. But then if you buy CDS, that means you have to buy it from somebody else. And that somebody else is the issuer of these credit default swap. Yeah. And then so therefore, if somebody is going to issue a CDS, that means that they are taking on the risk that the private debt will go into default. Yeah. Because if the private debt goes into default, then the CDS will make a big payout, and it is the issuer of these CDS that will suffer the loss. They have to make a big payout to the people who bought the CDS. Yeah. So therefore, if you are an issuer of a CDS, you are holding on to a very high risky product. And so therefore, how do you pass this risk onto somebody else who is not very suspecting? Who are very what they call unsuspecting youth. Yeah. And so voila, the kind of people that they are really targeting is the crypto investors. Like I said, the crypto investors, especially the stablecoin investors, they're not really that sophisticated in risk management. They most of the time they don't know what they're buying. So therefore, these issuers of the CDS will sell these CDS to the stablecoin investors, and then so therefore they will pass a very high risk of a large payout from the CDS, pass this risk to the stablecoin investors. Of course, the stablecoin investors will get a very high yield, like anywhere between 10 to 15% APY, yeah. But they are taking on this huge risk, and so therefore, that's why I call it a kind of dirty trick in finance, yeah, for people who want to pass on a high risk financial product to somebody who is a kind of an unsuspecting risk, yeah. All right, so that's the financial trick that I am talking about today. I'll give you another dirty financial trick in the next video. All right, see you then. Bye.